taken by a text, and I want to read it to you, and then I want to get your opinion on this. Our text is 95500 if you want to ever get in contact with us or just give comments on stuff. You know, it's kind of like if you're just commenting on someone's Instagram pic or Facebook post, whatever, you can just text 95500. 248 says, well, at least the girl's not in town, and Alicia should feel comforted by that.
That doesn't matter. There's social media and there's airplanes and the phone.
I was taken by that text because I want to ask this question, and I think that majority of people are going to feel exactly the same way that you just said, you know, you feel right now. What would you rather? I mean, obviously, you'd rather them never cheat at all, but what would you rather? If your significant other was going to cheat, would you rather them cheat with somebody that was in town or out of town? Somebody that lived here or doesn't live here? You know, if they are going to cheat, which one is going to be the easier one to get over? Because I know none of them are easy to get over, but at least if you know that there's nothing that they can do with each other, you know, on a regular basis, or maybe in this case, I mean, obviously he sent the flowers, so
right.
He's still thinking about her. But
I think the in-town one would obviously be tougher for that reason, but also for the reason of you having the fear of like running into that person or seeing that person, because that would be awkward too.
Right.
You know what I mean? That would be really traumatic as well.
Yeah.
In addition to all of the worry.
That's the way I would take it. And I don't know, maybe people from experience can tell us. 844-665-6548, 844-MOJO Live. But I would think that would probably be the one that I would hate that I have to pick, but if there was one, that would probably be the one. Chris, in town or out of town?
Out of town. Easily out of town. That way, if there was any chance of salvaging it, it would be that much easier without them being tempted as easy. But I also wanted to say to that texter that texted that started this, but no one said that woman was out of town. It could have been someone he met on the airplane or something on the way there.
Totally true.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah.
So, but that guy's a scuzzball, and hopefully she can move on. So you guys have a great one.
Thanks, buddy.
You too.
Appreciate it. It's Chris. Amanda, hi. Mojo in the Morning Show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm feeling bad for Alicia this morning, and I wanted to ask you, in town or out of town, if your spouse were to cheat, which one would be easier for you to deal with?
In town, definitely.
Really? Why in town?
Because I can find her and I can beat her up.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you guys too.
Isn't in town more emotional?
That's the
That's
thing.
what we said.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter either way, because if he's flying out of town or if he's going someplace and he'll be wasting my money too, no thank you.
Angela, you also say in town.
Yeah, well, there's cons both ways. I think out of town would be a little bit more hurtful because it would be like they're having more of an emotional connection.
Really? You think the more emotional connection would be them
But
going
that could be
being
in
out of
town
town?
too. That could be in town.
I would think that the in-town one would be more emotional because they probably see each other more often.
Yeah, both ways would hurt. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
I think that it would hurt either way.
Have you ever been cheated on?
Oh, yeah.
Really? And was the person somebody that was living here in town?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Somebody told me one time, one of our War of the Roses, wives who found out that their husband was cheating, that she'd been cheated on 3 times by the guy. And she said the hardest one was the one of him cheating with a coworker because she felt like he saw her more than he saw, his own wife.
Oh, yeah. Actually, my fiance and I have an agreement that not really an agreement, but we try to not have jobs where we're working so much with the opposite sex because you're spending so much, like 40-something hours a week with those people. You develop relationships with them. And,
how do you do that? How do you find a job where you're just not working with somebody that's of the opposite sex?
Well, I'm a nanny and he works at a shop.
But being a nanny, do you work for a single mom then?
Well, no, but I work alone with the kids most of the time.
Yeah, but you got to have the dad probably coming home. I mean, that's a big cheating opportunity.
Oh, no.
Not
It's
gonna
not
ha-
like that.
That's wild, though, that people have to have that where you set up hey, we both need to work in places where we don't have the temptation
no,
of that.
That's a lot of work.
Well, actually, it was like in the beginning of our relationship that we talked about it like that. I don't think it really matters anymore. We trust each other, but I just hear a lot of couples like feel that way, that they would feel more comfortable if their partner were not spending so much time every day with like people of like I don't know, attractive people of the opposite sex or something like that.
Yeah, that's what my rule is. I have to work with ugly people because
Screw you.
I'm just joking. Yeah, Kelly.
Yeah.
Hi. We had that texter that said Alicia should be feeling okay about this because at least it's somebody that he cheated with out of town. We were asking which one is easier to get over with. What do you have to say?
It's way easier to deal with when they're in town because then you see them together and it's easier to get over. Yeah, you're more mad, but when they're out of town, you don't know what they're doing.
Do you speak from experience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What
A lot
happened?
of experience. My ex was a truck driver. He did both. He cheated when he was on the road and he cheated when he was home.
So you said that you got over the one better that was was in town because you got to see what she looked like?
Yep. And then when it goes south, you get to be there to laugh to go, well, you know what? You blew it.
I appreciate your call. Shannon, hi.
Hi.
In town or out of town?
I think in town is harder to deal with because, that's where your life is. And for me personally, I was tipped off that he was cheating because I went in a restaurant that we frequented, but I was behind him. And when the hostess saw me, he was like, oh, that's not the lady he's usually with. And we had the children with us. And, this is where we built our life. So it's like in your face. And it tipped me off to suspicious activity. And from there, I stuff he was cheating. So it's over anyway. But
That's wild.
my
That
life is still in this
that is so
town.
wild, Shannon. That the hostess actually said something to you like that.
Oh, she didn't say anything to me. Her eyes said everything. She was familiar with him because it was close to where he worked, but I was not the lady he was usually with. And there were children, and her eyes
Yeah.
just told
Hey,
me everything I needed to know.
isn't it crazy when these guys will cheat with these women and then bring them to the same places that they take their spouse to?
And who wants to go to that restaurant? If I'm eating, they're going to point at me and say, oh, that must be the wife and children.
Yeah. Everybody's probably talking about it, right?
Yeah, totally uncomfortable.
Yeah. Thank you for the call. Lacey, War of the Roses this morning. Hi, in town or out of town? Which one is easier to get over if your spouse cheats?
Out of town. In town is the worst.
Explain. You must speak from experience on this one.
Yeah, my husband had an emotional affair with a friend of ours.
Mm-hmm.
So about a year after it ended, we got through it. We're good. I was working at a photo studio, and she came in for a photo shoot.
Oh, my
And
God.
I had to go in the room, and I looked at her, and I was like, I got to go.
That's beyond awkward.
I guess I never thought about that. There's always that fear of having to confront the person.
Wow. Did she?
Yeah,
What did she
walked
say
out.
when she saw you that she recognized who you were?
Said hello. She said hello. She had a new baby, and I told the boss, I was like, I got to get out of here for a few minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that.
Well, we're good now.
You guys are good.
Good.
He's been faithful to you.
Yes, better than ever.
All right, he better.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you call us up on a Thursday morning and we'll get him. Okay.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care of yourself, Mojo.